Hi guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel one more time. So I'm currently under isolation, I think is what they call it. I'm actually really sad about it. Like, I want to cry right now because I'm just an emotional person. I tested positive for COVID yesterday. I've had symptoms for a few days now, and I made sure to vlog it all for you guys, but since I'm in isolation till the 1st for me, September 1st, and then September 15th for the kids, just because their test came out negative. Since I live with them, or since we all live together, they might get it anytime between now and then, so they just want to be like super cautious about it. Figured we could do like little videos, quarantine videos, isolation videos. I hate calling it isolation. In my room it's legit a mess right now. I was literally gonna do laundry. I have like all my laundry right here. On Saturday I was gonna go do laundry at my mom's house. I was like, maybe I shouldn't, and I remember I told my sister, like, I don't think I'm gonna go do it because I just feel like sick. So I didn't end up doing it. I was gonna wash like my comforters. That's why my pillows are without like any pillow covers or anything like that. My sister has it, which is scary. Her results came back today. It's just crazy. One of my friends has it. Okay, you know what, we're just gonna get started before I talk too much, because what's the point of this video, right? My phone's about to die. I haven't charged it because my ass has been laying in bed all day. So far I don't feel like deadly. Like, I feel pretty crappy, but it's not like where I'm like, or I feel like I'm dying. There's times where I like can't breathe, like it hurts to like breathe sometimes inside, but it's nothing like crazy. And I'm just very, very thankful that my kids don't have anything right now, which I'm very thankful for, because I was so worried. Because I went to school on Thursday and Friday of last week, which was like their first days of school, and thankfully I didn't send them back to school on Monday because I just didn't want to risk any of the students there or anything like that. So if you ever feel like you need to do something, just do it, you know, don't ever doubt yourself. So I'm putting primer on. I guess we'll start with the story time. I don't know what story I want to tell. I don't know, like I have like a super like funny story, I have like a super sad story, but I'm trying to think about like a story time that I can tell you guys. This is kind of like a messed up story, but I'm like completely over it at this point because it's been, I think, a year since it's happened, and I feel like it's something that I can talk about now. I still get like a pit in my stomach whenever I talk about it, because it's like something that like I hate talking about, and it's just like it sucks remembering, but it's also like something that will make a like, not a funny story time, but like I look back on it and I'm like, I should have known. Okay, so we're gonna talk about my ex best friend. I'm putting some translucent powder on, which I don't know why I'm doing it, because I'm not going anywhere. A few years ago, I met this person, and we became really close. I met her through work. She eventually ended up moving away because she got a different position for the same job, but like in a different place, and I was like, you know, sad about it because we were like super close and everything. And then throughout this time, she kind of was being like really I don't know, just not the best person. She was just kind of like negative anytime that I talked to her. And I always use this combination, the Fenty Beauty foundation, the soft matte one, 300 I think that's what it is. And then I always use the Fit Me matte and poreless one in 335. I'm just a mixer. I like to like mix my foundations and stuff, so I put just a little bit like on a little plastic thing, so whatever you have, just put it on there and mix it together. We ended up becoming like super close, but like she moved away and we were still like in contact and everything, but every time she'd come visit, it was kind of like always like negative. You know, people always like try to make herself seem like higher, like she was just better than you. But I always like, it's hard for me to think about something like that, because I always wish you nothing but the best. Like, I'm always happy for you, I'm always like rooting for you, so if you ever have like good news or anything, like I'm just excited and happy for you. We ended up going out because it was her birthday. I was gonna spend the weekend with her. I had like planned everything out around it. I was so excited, so we went out. Well, this night she ended up finding like her ex-boyfriend in the club, just with him like all night. I just knew this guy was like trouble whenever I like saw him. I liked one of his friends. Like, I didn't drink because I wasn't 21. The friends of the guy that she like saw there got like super aggressive with me. Like, one grabbed like my hair. She wanted the guy to come over, her ex to come over. I kept telling her like, you know, let's go. We lost our ride back home because that person was like they left like a long time ago. Future Leslie right here, laying in bed once again because I feel like I'm dying. But I wanted to add that he actually told us that he was gonna take us home and didn't end up doing it. So We were like lost our ride home, and it was just like a crazy night. We tried to take an Uber home, and I remember I told her, I was like, don't tell them that we have an Uber. Well, I don't know 100%. I don't remember if she told them, which I'm pretty sure she did, but I know they were like around us and they like found us, and then that was like when the Uber like pulled up and was there for us. So they ended up all getting into the car with us, right? And they were like super aggressive. There was not even enough space in the Uber, which first of all, the Uber was like super nice about it. I told the Uber, like, I told him, I was like, I don't feel safe, because I really didn't. These people were like, so these men were like aggressive and just like not cool. So the Uber like was like, hey, you guys need to get down, because like you guys don't all fit in my car, because they were literally, we were gonna go to my friend's house. I just didn't want them to come home with us. I didn't feel safe. My friend being, you know, if she was drunk, I don't think she was drunk, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm always gonna take care of my friend. The Uber tried to drop them off like somewhere else. Putting concealer underneath my eyes, and then I'm doing concealer for contour. Well, it ended up where like these guys got like really aggressive with the Uber, and in the midst of this, I was like trying to tell my friend, like, tell them to get out of the car, like tell them to get out. I don't know if she was just too drunk, which I don't think she was too drunk, honestly. In my like thinking back, I don't think she was that drunk, but she also might, like, if she's watching this still, I was super drunk, I don't know. So I kept telling her, like, please tell them to like get out of the car, and she was telling like the other guys to get out of the car, but she didn't want her, like, the guy that she like wanted to take home, she didn't want him to get out of the car. So it was like, tell your friends to get out, but it was like, you stay in the car, and of course the friends aren't gonna get out if the dude isn't getting out, right? So it was just like super stressful. The Uber guy was like, okay, then I'm gonna like take you guys to the police station, I'm calling the police. The Uber guy like passes a red light in front of a police in hopes that that police like stops him, but it doesn't. Plus, these dudes are like football player dudes, so they're like big, right? They're like big and strong, and so it was just getting really scary. The guy ended up driving them to the police station while everything was getting like super dramatic. We get up to the police station, and these people still don't want to get out of the car. At this point, I'm like freaking out because they don't want to get out of the car. I'm like, okay, if you guys don't get out of the car, then I'm getting out of the car. The Uber guy gets out of the car to go into the police station and tell them like, hey, I need your help out here. My friend is like crying in the back, crying over the dude. Like, she wasn't crying over the fact that we might be in danger. She was like crying over the guy that was in the car that she wanted to go home with. And I'm like, girl, like, you need to snap into reality. Like, we are in danger. Like, we need to figure something out. The guy comes back out because I guess there was like no policemen in the place where he went. So he like came out to like tell them once again to get out of his car. You know, he like tries to warn them and stuff to like tell them to get out of his car. They don't. I think it was like after he told the police, like he actually told the police that there was like two guys in his car. He comes out. Now the Uber guy's like over it, and I can tell that he's over it because he's like yelling at them to get out of his car. I'm over here like, guys, get out of his car. Mind you, me and my friend were both still in the car. Then the Uber guy comes back, grabs a gun, literally on, like, that was in his compartment or whatever, grabs it and like cocks it. Is that what you say? Like, he cocks his gun. Girl, whenever I tell you I was so fucking scared, I was so scared. Like, I was so terrified that something was gonna happen. My friend's like crying still in the back, and I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna shoot. By this point, like, all these police cars like come up and like start to like legit talk through like the little, what's it called, guys, like the little thing that makes it loud. I'm freaking out. By this point, I start crying because the guy like had a gun. Like I said, the Uber guy had a gun. You know, in my head, I'm like, everything's fine. Everything's fine. It really wasn't. So they get out of the car, right? But instead of listening to the police officers, they start to like walk away. So then the police officers were like trying to track them down because they started like running. And I don't know what happened after that, because the Uber guy was like, hey, like, guys, like, I can still take y'all home if you want. So the guy drove us all the way home. Like, my friend was still crying over the guy. After that, I realized that she probably wasn't like the greatest friend to hang around, just because I told her multiple times, I don't want to take these guys with us, don't let them know. And she kind of just was very like selfish about it. And she was like, I want the guy, we're gonna name him Rick. So like saying like, Rick, I just wanted him to be okay. Like, she was like all crying about him, and she legit was just like worried about him. And I'm like, bro, you don't realize what we just went through. We went through because these dudes, like, and you're crying about him. What? I realized that she probably wasn't the best friend to hang around with. Plus she like sobered up, and she paid, because I'm not even gonna front, I didn't have that type of money, but she paid like $100 for that Uber ride because it was so crazy. I think I was supposed to stay that weekend, but I just decided to go home, and she kind of just took it as like, oh, it's funny, like, what happened, it was funny. And I'm like, no, what happened was traumatic. I ended up kind of cutting off that friendship, and I think she realized it. I unfriended her on Facebook, and I realized that she was just kind of like fake, because she talked like so much crap on people. She talked so much crap on this one girl that I knew. She was like our store manager, and she like talked so much crap on her, hateful crap. And then whenever she came to like see her, or she came to the store one day and she saw her, and she was like, oh my god, hey, and like gave her a hug and everything. And in my head I'm like, wait, don't you like not like her? Like what? Well, I ended up moving last year to Kansas City. We ended up reconnecting there. She was training at the same exact store that I was training at. It was weird because she didn't even acknowledge me at first. So I kept that same energy, and then I realized like after a few days of working with her, like, hey, like we literally trained the exact same shifts. Like we're always together, so it was kind of awkward, and I felt like we were making it awkward for the other people that were training us. One day I remember I just ended up talking to her about it. I told her like everything, how I felt about it. She talked to me about it, and we kind of just squashed it there. She was crying, and she was talking about like how that guy was like, it was just hard for her to get over and all this. And so I understood, once we talked about it, I understood why she did so much for this guy that night, because I'm like, okay, well, this is an ex that's just like very toxic and kind of hard to just get rid of. We all have them. I'm using the Airspun Naturally Neutral powder to set underneath my eyes. So we ended up talking it out or whatever, and we ended up becoming friends again. Literally best friends, FaceTiming all the time. She helped me like rent my first place. She was with me like on my vlogs. It was kind of like literally we'd go out to eat all the time. We'd go out and drink and party, which was not healthy either, because I realized that I was going out to like party all the time, and my sister would always tell me like, girl, you need to stop, and my mom too. But like, you know, I was going party all the time with her, and it was just like, it was a lot of fun being her friend. What I didn't like about her was she would just talk major crap on like 99% of the people that she said like were her friends. Like she would just act one way in front of everyone and another way in front of, you know, everyone else. And then she just was like very dramatic, just a very dramatic person. Like I hate drama. I hate it, and that's one thing that I don't like to deal with. But she was definitely that person that I'm like, I need to just separate myself from. It was just really hard to do because she was my best friend. I'm like, how do I separate myself from this person? It was just like super hard. It was like one of those things where you're like, I need to get away from this person, but also like she calls me every day and like is at my house every day. Like, how do I do it? I'm gonna set my face now with a setting powder, and I'm using this Neutrogena one. For my birthday, my birthday is June 18th, if you guys were wondering. For my birthday, I decided to go out with her whenever I turned 21. This was probably like the worst night of my life, right, guys? Like, guys were buying me drinks, and for some reason she hated when guys bought me drinks. I don't know why. Once a guy started buying me drinks, she was like super like upset. She went to like go sit down. By this point though, I was pretty drunk, but she like legit separated herself from me instead of like staying by me or near me, which I mean, I don't expect you to babysit me whenever I'm drunk, but this was also my 21st birthday, and I know my other friends would not do me like that. They wouldn't be like, oh yeah, let me just go sit over there while a dude's buying you a drink. Like, no, they would be like, hey girl, like I'm gonna stand here till they're done. All I remember is getting upset with her because I kept trying to call her and call her and call her and call her, and she wasn't picking up her phone. And I was so upset because I'm like, where are you? I was leaving her voice messages. I was like, please answer the phone. I don't know where you're at. Let me know. I kept texting her, nothing. And I knew she was upset with me, but then again, that's not a reason for you to leave your friend. And just like literally drunk me, like went outside, like walked around of the club. Like somebody could have taken me. Somebody could have kidnapped me and like killed me. Finally ended up finding her, right? It was like, it wasn't even that late at night. The club hadn't even closed or anything. I ended up finding her because she texted me where she was at. By the way, the first time she texted me, she's like, I'm outside. So I went outside. That's why I walked around the first time, but she was actually like inside, outside the balcony. So you have to like literally be inside to go out in the balcony. And she was like, that's what she meant by outside. She wasn't like, I'm outside in the balcony. She literally said, I'm outside. So I'm like looking for outside. I ended up finding her or whatever. She like was hella pissed at me. She was talking crap about me to this guy, right? And I remember this dude like legit turned around to me and like started to like tell me off because of what she was telling him. So he was like, oh, what a friend, like you're such a good friend, like you left her, like he was talking all this mad crap to me. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like what? And then so then I'm like going back and forth with her because I'm like, why are you telling this random dude what's going on, because I didn't even know what was going on. I'm like, girl, I'm like so drunk, I don't even know what's going on. But you know, I still remember it in my head. So I'm like, what is going on? So I remember in my head, I was like, this is enough BS for tonight, because I'm like, you know what, I just want to go home, I want to go lay down, I don't want to be doing all this. So I remember I was like, here's the bag. So I took off the bag because I didn't want to be responsible for it if I was like that drunk. Are you that drunk person that like always still thinks about everyone and everything else before, like, you know, you actually like make mistakes and stuff? Like, I'm that drunk person that like I think about everybody. I don't just like I try not to just do dumb crap, because I know I would hate for somebody to do that to me. So I gave her the fanny pack that had all of her information in it. She was like, whatever. She let me walk away, everything. I walked out of the club, started walking around, and I remember I was so drunk, I just kept walking. She was like, I think she was pretty sober. So I walk around, in my head I'm so mad, I'm so angry that all of this had happened. This guy like, hey, like, are you lost? And I was like I was telling him what had happened, and the guy was like, oh yeah, it's pretty messed up. So I was like, all right. I'm like, am I too drunk? He was like, no. He's like, honestly, you seem like pretty like okay to me, like I just want to make sure you get home okay, like because you're here all alone. He's like, do you have somebody like you can call? Super nice guy, super sweet guy, but if his intentions were different that night, that could have gone like a completely different way. And I was like, yeah, I can call my sister, which I know sounds really scary. So I call my sister, I'm like over here like on the phone with her, I'm like, Kayla, can you come get me? Woke her up. Such a crappy person. Like, I made her get up, put my kids in the car like at 1-2 o'clock in the morning and come for me. I'm using blush now. So she came for me, but this guy took me to go get a cookie. So then my sister like stayed on the phone with me, because she was like, Leslie, you're just with some random dude. And I was like, yeah, but he's like super nice. And then he was talking to her, and then she was like, okay, well, I'm here. The guy like walked me over to her car, made sure that it was her car, and then like talked to her and put me in the car. And he was so sweet. His name was Dominic, and he put his number in my phone, and I was like, okay, thank you. And then I remember I had this girl's shoes on because I borrowed them, and I made my sister drive to her apartment. My sister was so over it. I remember she was like so pissed. She was like she wasn't even like talking to me or anything. She was just like, okay. Drove me to her apartment, left them at on her car. So whenever I went home, once the club shut down, she tried calling me. I remember she was so mean. She was like, answer the fucking phone, and Leslie, what the fuck? Because I wasn't answering her calls, and I was like, I literally just texted her. I was like, my sister can't pick me up, like I'm on my way home. She's like, what a great friend. I don't think I texted her back, because I'm like, you know what, I'm over this. At least I'm going home safe and sound. At least my sister can pick me up and not a kidnapper killer who could have killed me. She ended up posting on her Snapchat story, which I saw the next morning, posting like some shade to me. She's like, whenever you go out for your friend's birthday and you end up walking home alone, what a great fucking friend, or what a great fucking night, or something like that. And then she like kept posting about it on her Snapchat. I woke up the next morning and I was like, you know, whatever, like she's free to do whatever the hell she wants to do. If she wants to like blast me on Snapchat, she can do that. But I felt like in my heart I did the right thing. Like, I called my sister because I was too drunk. I ended up going to get my car. That's when I realized it got towed. Tried calling my friend to tell her that her car is towed as well. Didn't answer my phone call. Texted her, hey, our cars are not here, I think they're towed. She comes home, she comes back to her place all pissy and everything. I ended up going to her apartment, and I ended up apologizing, because I'm that kind of person, like, if we have an issue, especially if you're my best friend, let's please talk about it. I was like, hey, can we talk about what happened? Literally, she's like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it right now. She was like such a bitch to me, and I'm like, okay. So she ends up posting on Snapchat that her car is towed, and I was like, hey, do you know where my like card is? And I'm like, I think I left it in that bag. Well, we go through that bag, none of our cards are there. I was like, okay, wonderful. So our cards got stolen, and I felt like the day couldn't get any worse, right? So I was like, whatever. So I told her, like, I'm so sorry for like what I did last night. Like, if I hurt you, if I did anything, I was very drunk. I wanted to apologize to you, like me telling her. And then she ended up comparing me to her sister, which was kind of weird, but like her sister had done some pretty, I guess, messed up things to her. She's like, you're just like her. And I was like, not really, because I'm sitting here owning up to my crap, and I'm trying to apologize to you and having like a decent conversation with you. So, you know what I mean? Like, or she compared me to her sister's friend, one of the two. And I let her know. I was like, I just want you to know, like, I'm sorry, but I also wanted to let her know that like, if she needed any help with anything, to please let me know, because she was like my best friend. So I needed her to know that like she needed help with like her car and it being towed, or rides or anything. me and my sister were here to help her because that's what best friends do. Well, the next day was kind of stressful because I think that happened on a Sunday, and the next day I had to go to work, which is a Monday. My sister, thankfully, which shout out to Kayla if she's watching this, she's probably watching this like, oh, like, ugh, my sister did that to me. I'm so sorry, Kayla, from the bottom of my heart that I ever put you through any of this. You don't deserve it. But thank you for like helping me in those times where I really needed you. So thank you for all that help that you gave me, but I'm also very deeply sorry for even putting you through any of this. So I wanted to say that, put it out there. My sister ended up helping me get my car out of the towing truck. She talked to them and got my card situation figured out. My friend, though, on the other hand, she had a really hard time getting hers out of the towing, but my sister drove her around and everything, helped her get like go to like several different banks and everything. My sister helped her do that while I was at work. She ended up coming to see me once her car got out of the towing company or whatever, and then we ended up sitting down like, you know, adults and talking more deeply about what had happened. I told her how I did not appreciate her putting me on her Snapchat like that, because I feel like whenever you truly love somebody, you don't try to like expose them like that, especially from like, I don't know, it was just like she was trying to hurt me and she was trying to just make everyone turn against me. We ended up moving on from that. Found out later that she ended up talking to one of my really good friends and telling them her side of the story. Then July comes around. We're planning this going out party. One of my good friends back home ended up coming to celebrate 4th of July with us because we were planning it. She didn't really want her to come, but for some reason she told them that it was okay for them to come and stay at her place or whatever. But I remember I told her like, they don't have to stay at your place, they can stay at my place. So it was like my best friend, me, the girl that we're both friends with, that was friends from back home, and then her friend, her best friend. So it was 4 of us. So I ended up really clicking with the other girl. I ended up clicking with her, and I guess she got like jealous or something about it. Okay guys, I think I'm just gonna leave it like this. Then I'm not gonna put any mascara on. I'm gonna use some of this. This is the ColourPop Lippy Stick in 1000%. Okay guys, so this is the look. Let's finish off the story and tell you guys what happened. I ended up vibing with this other girl. We're dancing. Well, I ended up finding out that they ended up leaving the club. My best friend was like annoyed or something, and she ended up like leaving with the other girl. Whenever I tried talking to her, she was just like super like, don't talk to me, like I'm over this day, like I'm over this night type of thing. And then she got upset because a guy was buying me a drink again. So she like made a comment to the other girl that was both of our friends. She was like, she's letting a guy buy her drink, and our friend was like, there's no problem with that. This night ended up, there's this guy in her apartment, and then we ended up leaving because she was kind of being rude about it, and we're like, you know what, maybe she wants her alone time with this guy. We ended up leaving, and then she ended up getting upset that we left her alone with this guy. It was just very confusing. So she ended up posting something on Snapchat about being fake friends. At this point, I knew that I just needed to end things with this person, because I'm like, well, like friendship wise, because I'm like, I don't need a friend like that. So then the girl that came to see us ended up telling me that the side of the story that this girl, that my best friend told her, like what had happened on my birthday, it was nothing of what had happened, because I told her what happened, and she was like, yeah, that's not like at all what she told me had happened. I ended up cutting all ties with her. I remember she tried to come over like one time to pick up her clothes, and I was like, it'll be in my garage is open, like you can come get it whenever you want. Never ended up coming to get the clothes, and I didn't talk to her again. Then I ended up finding out that she had uploaded a YouTube video about me. So in this YouTube video, she talked about how it was just like a very short, where she like had mentioned me, but of course like everyone knew that she was talking about me. In this video, she talked about how like she lost a best friend, and how something about love, how much like she loved me and how this hurt her. And I remember I got so enraged by the fact that she said like that she loved me, because whenever you love somebody, you don't do them like that. I don't think she really knew what love meant, because that's not what you do whenever you love somebody. You don't go around trying to get people to hate them and to dislike them, and you don't go around and wish the worst for them. Like, I truly genuinely love her, and still to this day, like, I care about her and I think about her, and like, I hope she's doing nothing but the best. But this person was really trying to sabotage me and turn everyone against me, and including uploaded a YouTube video when she couldn't even talk to me. Like, if you love somebody, you talk to them about it. You say, hey, like, what's going on? Like, you know what I mean? I don't believe I did anything wrong. I was dancing, I was having a good time. Now, if she felt like I was doing something wrong, her being a friend and saying that she loved me, she would have came up to me and talked to me about it, like, been an adult, instead of just posting something on her Snapchat talking about fake friends. Like, that's not what you do whenever you love somebody. So I was like super annoyed about it. She ended up going to her Instagram and like doing new captions, and there was one that was like, swipe to see my fake ass friends. It's just super funny to me. I think she still has it up. I don't know though, because her account's private, but I remember she like switched it to that. One of her friends that she talked major crap on whenever we were friends commented on the picture and was like, oh, I see you, or something like that. And then she was like, you know where it was just like this petty ass thing, like, girl, you talk so much crap on this girl, and what, now you guys are best friends? And so everyone that she just talked major crap on is supposedly her best friend. And then she went on there talking about how like she has lost so many of her best friends, and I'm like, maybe it's because you so damn fake, girl. You is fake as hell, you know what I mean? So I'm thankful that I just cut off all ties with her, because I just didn't want that around me. And sometimes you just have to cut ties. Sometimes there's no amount of talking, no amount of getting through to somebody that is like that. Sometimes you just have to like, boom, cut it off and let them think the worst of you and let them talk bad about you. Because at the end of the day, people, if you want to hate me because somebody told you a story about me, which was probably most likely fake, that just shows what kind of person you are, because I just don't do that. Like, if somebody told me a story about somebody and I met them, I wouldn't judge them off the story somebody told me. Like, no, girl, like, let me get to know you, you know, type of thing, and then I will make my opinion over you. I don't care what so-and-so said about you, because I'm gonna make my own opinion about you. I don't care what nobody said. And I'm a public person. I do YouTube, I'm on Instagram a lot. I do that, but I also would never use my platform as a way to try to hurt somebody. You know what I mean? Like, I would never be like, oh, my friend is so fake, like, blah, blah, blah. And it's not what I am. It's not what I would ever do. So, and I remember her excuse was because she was going through something like really hard, and, you know, her life was just hard. And so therefore she took it out in that way, shape, or form. I know, girl, like, I've had so much crappy things happen in my life till this day. I will never, ever, ever treat somebody the way she treated me. Because my life was hard, whatever, point blank, no, girl. Thanks for spending this quarantine isolation day with me. So my phone's about to die. If you guys enjoyed this quarantine day number 1 with me, then let me know by liking this video. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm doing okay. My lungs hurt, my head hurts. I think it's because I was talking for so much, but trust me, like, I wouldn't want to spend my quarantine any other way than with you guys. So stay safe, wear your mask, social distance, please, please, please. This whole COVID thing is no joke. It spreads so fast. Love you guys. I will talk to you guys tomorrow.